Criminal gangs will find ever cheaper ways to ply their evil trade. They will exploit our humanity, and our enemies will also see that we are unable to deal with this, and then they will so increasingly use migration as a weapon, deliberately driving people to our shores to try to destabilise our society.
UK government begins deporting hate and extremist preachers in the UK back to Palestine.
Our citizens, who won't understand why their money should have to be spent on dealing with the consequences of this evil trade, it will destroy the public's faith, not just in us as politicians, but in our very systems of government.
In a major new initiative to tackle the spread of extremism, the UK government has announced a sweeping crackdown on hate preachers and radical religious figures operating within the country.
You know, a visa is a privilege. It's not a right. You have no right to come here if you're a foreigner. You're only allowed here if what you are doing here is to the advantage of the British people more widely.
So how could we get rid of the people we don't want when they're already here?
But anybody who's here on a visa, we can take it away. And look, this is something we've already been doing, Martin.
The Home Office will work to quickly deport any foreigners who are caught spreading hatred, violence, or ideas that divide people under the new policy. It was Prime Minister Rishi Sunak who made the news. This is a big step up in the government's efforts to limit the power of extremists who have had a lot of freedom to work in the UK for years. Our video today will tell you everything you need to know about how the UK government is going after hate speakers, extremists, and people who are protesting in a dishonest way. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our station and hit the bell to get updates when they come out. Now pay close attention. Sunak explained the new rules as something that had to be done to protect British ideals and social cohesion against people who take advantage of our freedoms and welcome. Sunak said in his speech announcing the crackdown, "We've been too easy on these people for far too long. They come to this country and take advantage of how open and tolerant we are, all while trying to destroy the very things that make our way of life possible. Those times are over now. We value respect, diversity, and the rule of law. If you don't agree with these, you are not accepted here and will be sent back." People from other countries and people who are dual citizens of the UK will both be deported under this policy. Extremists who are already known to the security services will be closely watched, and those who are seen as a threat to public safety will be quickly removed from the country through sped-up legal procedures. The government has made it clear that it is ready for possible legal challenges and has hinted that it might try to make deportation rules stronger if it needs to. Any faith or group is not specifically targeted by the new rules, but most people think that Islamist preachers will be the ones who are affected. This shows how much people are worried about how Islamists are becoming radicalized, which has been the main topic of conversation about national security in the past few years. But the government has made it clear that the crackdown is meant to stop all kinds of extremism, from far-right hate groups to extreme left-wing ideologues. Patel made it clear that this is not about going after any one group. Our shared ideals and the fabric of our society need to be protected from people who want to divide us and hurt our way of life. Some people who are against the plan are worried about due process, the possibility of leaving people without a passport, and the plan's ability to wrongly target minority groups. Also, it's not clear if it's possible to send back British citizens, even if they have more than one nationality. But people who support the crackdown say that the threat posed by hate speakers and other extremists is big enough to justify these extreme steps. They think that the government can stop the spread of extremist ideas and make society more united and accepting by getting rid of the most divisive and radical speakers. One government official who spoke on the condition of anonymity said, "These people take advantage of our hospitality and freedoms to spread hate, intolerance, and violence. It is our duty to keep our people and our ideals safe from those who want to harm them." This crackdown is a step in the right way that needs to be taken. In the coming months and years, the new policy on deportations will almost certainly be challenged in court and be closely looked at. But the government seems set on moving forward. They are sure that being tough on extremism is the only way to protect Britain's democratic structures and social fabric. Sunak said, "We won't let a small minority come here and poison the minds of the weak. People who don't want to help will be sent away because they are part of the problem." The UK government's new strategy for fighting radicalization and the spread of divisive ideas is reflected in its harsh actions against hate speakers and other extremists. People have been saying for years that the government is too soft on extreme religious leaders and fringe political groups, even though they are becoming a bigger threat. With the new strategy on deportations, the government is acting in a much more proactive and aggressive way. They want to stop the spread of extremist ideas and make it harder for hate groups to take hold in communities across the country by going after the loudest and most offensive speakers. Patel said in her speech that this was about safety for our principles and way of life. We won't let a small group of people come here and poison the thoughts of the weak. For those who don't want to help, you will be removed from the group as a problem member. Concerns about the power of radical preachers are growing, especially in some Muslim groups, which is why this move was made. In the UK, some well-known extremists have been able to work pretty openly for the past 10 years, recruiting young people to their causes and making things more tense. By deporting these people, the government hopes to stop the spread of radical ideas and make it harder for hate groups to take hold. But some people have said that the new rules are too harsh and could make groups that are already feeling left out even more isolated. Some people worry that the policy on deportation could be used in an unfair way, hitting minority groups harder than others and threatening important civil freedoms. And lawyer for human rights and spokeswoman for the Council of Ex-Muslims of Britain, Mariam Namazi, said, "We have to be very careful not to create an atmosphere of suspicion and mistrust. To send people away without giving them a chance to be heard and because of their beliefs, even if those beliefs are horrible, is a dangerous path to take." But what it does is help radicals, and it could lead to even more division and radicalization. So far, the government has tried to calm these worries by saying that the crackdown is not aimed at any one church or group, but at extremists of all kinds. They have also stressed how important it is to work together with religion groups and community leaders to build trust and stop the spread of radical ideas. In the end, how well the policy on deportations is carried out is going to determine how well it works. It might work to weaken the impact of the most dangerous hate preachers if it is done in a fair, open, and balanced way. But if it is seen as harsh or biased, it could make social differences worse and help the extremists it wants to stop. One government official who helped make the policy said that it was important to find a careful balance because this is a complicated and touchy matter. People who try to stir up hate and separation need to be punished harshly, but we must also remember to defend the rights and freedoms that make us a society. There is a thin line to walk, but we are determined to do so as well as possible. What do you think about this? Tell us about it in the area below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our station to get new videos.